Okay, everybody, today we are going to learn about the gizmo. I know it's this weird thing, and some of you may have figured it out already, and some of you may have not, and that's okay. It's kind of weird to get used to at first, okay? So, to use the gizmo, you go to your bubble here, okay? And then you go to your three dots, and then you go over and up to gizmo. Now, what does all this stuff mean? Okay, there's like buttons down here, there's arrows, like what is all this crazy stuff? Well, I'll show you. Okay, first we have snap. That means it's turned on. That means it's turned off. Then we have world space and local space. And then we have translate, rotate, scale. Okay, and then we have sensitivity, and this will be different depending on whether you're using translate, rotate, and scale, okay? So what I want to do first is show you rotate, because that'll be your most useful. And I'm going to click snap. And now what snap is, and this is kind of important, we're in this big square flat plane, and you have to imagine there is a grid running that way and that way, okay? It's just like when you do graphing in math, okay? A big grid, okay? X-axis, Y-axis, but then the grid also goes up, and you have your Z-axis, okay? So basically, it's grid that way, and grid up way. Okay, I'll show you what I mean by that. Now, we are going to lock this to the world space, meaning we are going to use the grid of the world. And we're on rotate and we're on snap. What I'm going to do is click over here to sensitivity, and you'll see it's at 30 degrees, 15 degrees, 5, 1, and 45 degrees, okay? Now, basically, if the number here is bigger, then the movement it's going to make when it snaps onto the grid will be a bigger movement. 90 will be your biggest movement, okay? And here first, boom, it just snapped into the grid. That wasn't a full 90-degree turn. What it was just doing, as you can see, is it's lined up on the grid of the world. Now if I move it 90 degrees, boom, it gives it a full turn, okay? Full turn, or at least a full 90-degree turn. If I click this one and go up and down, it clicks in that direction, all right? So what if we click something smaller, like 30 degrees? Well, and I move it, it'll only go a little bit now. And you can take it all the way down to like 15, and it'll only move 15 degrees each time. And then you can take it to 5 degrees, and it'll move even less each time. So what happens if I'm not on snap? What happens if I turn off snap? Well, now I don't get degrees anymore, I get sensitivity. I'm going to turn my sensitivity up all the way to 4. And we'll see if I move it just a tiny bit, it goes really fast because it's so sensitive. If I turn my sensitivity down to 1 and I move it a little bit, it moves a lot slower. And you can even turn sensitivity down to 1/10, and then it moves just a little bit, which is really handy. Okay, so let's talk about these rings I have going on right here. I'm going to turn this back to snap because it's more useful that way. I'm going to go to 45 degrees and snap it back into the grid. Now, each one of these circles lights up when you point at it. And each one of these circles is a separate direction. Think of it as a plate. The flat plate in front of me is that ring that's sitting flat on a table. Imagine it like it's sitting flat on a table. And if you take that plate and you rotate the plate, what's on the plate is going to rotate the same direction the plate does. So if I take that plate and I rotate it, it goes that way. And I grab it and I rotate it and it goes that way. But we have 3D plates here because we're in VR. So I can also take this vertical plate and spin it that way and spin it that way. And I can take this one in this other vertical direction and go this way. Oh, it doesn't want to do it for some reason. I don't know why. Well, that was a bad example on that one. I don't know why it didn't do it. But basically, this should kind of make sense. And right now, we're only going to work with snap, world space, rotate, and our sensitivity.